Hi guys, welcome to live tutelage. Now in this session, we'll be discussing of something called Java interfaces. Java interfaces. See, for example, if A, B are two classes and if we want to derive a class C from these two classes using inheritance property, we cannot derive it. That means Java does not support for multiple inheritance. See, for example, I have a class something called A here and I have a class something called B here. Okay, now I want to derive a new class which is C, which will have the property of A as well as the properties of B, which is not possible with the help of the inheritance concept in Java, right? Which is not possible with the help of inheritance concept in Java. So I cannot do this with the syntax of inheritance of Java. That's what the definition says. I cannot derive a new class C from these two classes. Okay, but Java has a very good feature to overcome this inheritance property. Java has a special feature which is called interfaces. Okay, interfaces that implements these multiple inheritance. So such a kind of inheritance we call as a multiple inheritance. If I'm having class A, class B, of course I have class C and even I have class D, right? And I want to create a new class from A, B as well as from C, right? As well as from D. If I want to do it, so this type of inheritance is called multiple inheritance. This is not possible with the help of the inheritance concept. But this is possible with the help of the interfaces concept, which is a special feature in the Java. Okay, now let us see the syntax and how to create an interface and how to access the method of A and the method of B in the class C. How to access the method from class A and how to access the methods from class B in the class C. Okay, now we'll take some Java example here. So here I have a simple class called a main class. This is a main class, and before that I'm going to define two interfaces, right? Here we should not define a classes, we have to create an interfaces. So go to the source, right click it, say new. Here you can find interface, not the class, but select the interface. Now give the name of interface as number 1 and say finish. So this is the interface 1 which is created, and create another interface 2, right, and say finish. Now interface 2 is created, interface 1 is created. I have two classes, something like interfaces. It is a blueprint of a class. Interfaces are also a blueprint of a class. The syntax for interfaces will be public interface. See here, you cannot find the keyword called class here. This is an interface. Now what I am doing is, I am going to define a methods in interface 1 and even a method in interface 2. So in interface 1, let me say something like, I have a method called void display. I have a method called what? Display. And in interface 2, I have a method called void cal, which will calculate something. Okay. So I have a method called calculate in interface 2. But here, one thing you have to remember. So in this case, say for example, so I have a function, a method which is display here, right? I have a method display here, and when I am trying, suppose when I am trying to give the definition for this in the interface itself, immediately a red mark will come, the warning message, which is an abstract method should not have a body here, right? So we have already discussed what is an abstract method, right? So the abstract methods should not be defined in the same place, should not be defined in the same class, right? So for the interfaces, whatever the methods that we have defined, it acts as an abstract method. This is point number 1. Okay, you have to note it. All the methods which we have defined in the interfaces will act as the abstract methods. And abstract methods can be defined in the inherited classes only, right? In inherited classes only. So this is abstract method 1 and this is abstract method 2. And where I can give the body for this methods, where I can define a body, where I can define these methods in the inherited or in the subclass of these two. But here you cannot define a subclass for these two because these two are not classes, but these two are the interfaces. I can implement a class 3 from these two. So that is what, this is the class 3, which is my main class, which implements the class interface 1 and interface 2, right? Which implements interface 1 and interface 2. Okay, so that means what? It is extending the class is derived from these two classes. The class is derived from these two classes. Okay, so since we should not use the inheritance concept and the syntax here, we are using the interfaces concept here. When you are extending or when you are implementing a new class from these two classes, you have to use the keyword called implement. So this class implements interface 1, interface 2. That means this class will implement the methods which you have defined in interface 1 and also interface 2. Now here I can give the definition for my class, which is this. So I can give the definition for my class, so which is public, and here I can define the class. Say for example, system.out.println welcome. Okay, so this is the method, or this is the function, this is the body of my interface 1 method display. And let me define, or let me display, let me derive, or let me give the definition for the cal. So which is public. Now this is what you can define it here, implement it here. So this keyword should be, see this Eclipse has a very good feature. Whenever you type anything wrong, immediately it gives an error message by just giving a red mark, like a normal word you can find it, right? So now here I am just defining int a, which is equal to sum 10, and then int b, which is equal to sum 6. Okay, I have two values here. Now I am going to display this system.out.println of a multiplication with b, right? A multiplied with. Now I have definitions, the body for my two methods. This method is from interface 1 and this method is from interface 2. Now here if you observe this class implementing these two methods, and in my main program, and I'm going to call these two methods. How you can call these two methods? So by just creating an object called determine, right? So this is a class I can access through an object, right? So with this I can just call the display, and I can even call the method cal. Right. Now I'm just trying to run this. Say run as, say OK. Now you can find the text welcome, so which is from display, and this display method is, definition is this, the calling or the definition for this or the declaration for this method is from interface 1, and calculation, the definition for this is 10 into 6, which is 60, and this is where you have declined, right? So this class is implementing interface 1 as well as interface 2, and this class is using the property of this interface, and this class is using the property of the second interface. Okay, this is called multiple inheritance concept, and this can be done through the interfaces feature of the Java. Okay, this is about interfaces. So the very important thing is interfaces will always have the abstract methods. Whenever you have interface key, that means it will have an abstract method, and abstract methods should not be defined in the interface. It should be defined in the implementation class. Okay, thank you.